Hi, if you like the video, please remember to subscribe. Hi, I'm Rob from robnonphoto.com, and today we're going to be having a look at a quick review of a new TV that we got a couple of weeks ago. This is the Polaroid 40-inch HD LED TV. The model number is a P40LED12, and we got it from ASDA, which is a supermarket in the UK. And we got it for a bit of a bargain. I understand that I think it's a model that might be about a year old. We actually managed to pick it up for £180, brand new, full year guarantee and everything like that. But first off, I'll tell you that story in a bit. So first off, why a TV? Why am I doing a review of a TV? Well, to be honest, in our house we only have one flat screen big TV, and that's in Oliver room, which is a 32-inch one, very nice. But on the rest of the room we just have old CRTs with like Freeview digital tuners on them. It's not something that I've ever really been that much interested in, to be honest, big televisions. I tend to think sometimes they're a little bit fuzzy, which is still the case when you're watching standard definition on a big television. And I guess there's always other things you've been spending the money on, but recently Suzanne said, look, why don't we get one? And we haven't been on a foreign holiday or any real holiday this year at all, so why don't we spend some of the money that we spend on that on getting a new TV for downstairs, so we can all sit around watching it. Especially now the autumn's here and we're going into winter, we're going to spend a lot more time in the evenings watching television. And I was a bit like poo-pooing the idea. I wasn't really into it. But we went up to ASDA, Newgate Lane in Fareham, and we were looking at the TVs. But to be honest, it was a bit of a rubbish experience. They had lots of TVs on display, but none of them were working. They didn't have any of them turned on. And when we tried to ask one of the people who worked there to turn them on, they were like, "Oh no, we're too busy." So I was a bit, had the hump a bit. So I was on my phone, trying to look up reviews of these things, because I'm no expert on this sort of consumer electronics, so I don't really know much. But anyway, in the end, we thought, well, they had one for, I think it was $290, a Polaroid one, and but they only had the display one. So we asked I think it was a lady there, so have you got any more of these? And she sort of looked a bit huffy, but then wandered off. And we waited around for about 5 minutes, and then she came back, dragging this big box across the shop floor, like bouncing it along as she was coming through the store. And then she got up to where we were and said, "Well, there you go, there's your TV." So I said, "Well, no way, there's no way we're taking that one. You've just dragged it all across the shop floor, bouncing it as you go along. It's a fragile piece of electronics, not happy not having that one." So I was in a bit of a huff, so we went down to the customer services desk just to say, look, this is what's happened, because we were going to buy a DVD, upscaling DVD player with it, HDMI lead, probably a couple of DVDs as well. And it wasn't going to be the top of the range what they do, but it was still well over £350, so it's going to be quite expensive, I thought, anyway. So we went down to the customer services point, asked to see somebody in charge just to talk to them about the situation, because we wanted to spend our money there, and nobody came. We waited about 10 minutes, and I said, right, that's it, we're just leaving, we're going to spend our money with Curry's or some other, or Amazon or anybody else. So we went outside, but Suzanne persuaded me that let's go down to, there's another Asda, a little one in Gosport, let's see if they've got one down there, then we'll just buy it, because we really want it and it's a good price. So we went to the one in Gosport, the little one, which they've recently done up, so it's much better. Went in and they had the box, and so I loaded it onto a trolley, and then we got a kind of matching upscaling DVD player, which I probably should have just bought a Blu-ray player now, but anyway, we got that, and we got a couple of DVDs and some pizzas, and then went to the entertainment counter, and she zapped it through. Now bear in mind, this TV was £280, and then we were spending about another £60 or £70 on stuff to go with it. And the lady zapped it through, and then she went, that's £220, please. So I was like, whoa. So Oliver went to say something, I went, shh, don't say anything. So anyway, what it turned out was that the box we had picked up, which was, I think it was the last one on the shelf, was actually for a model before the one that ASDA were selling for 280, and they put it down to a 290, put it down to a clearance price of £180. Doing a little bit of research on the internet, there was a few sites that had mentioned this several months ago, the fact that ASDA were clearing out these TVs, and they were incredibly cheap, but they didn't have many. So all I can suggest is that probably they had a few of these in the back of the warehouse, and they didn't realise what they were, because they weren't advertised at 180. They were ticketed up at 290. So we got it home, opened it up, and there we have our new HD big TV, which I've got to say I'm very chuffed by. Now, if you've had a big TV for many years, you're probably going 40-inch. It's not particularly big, you know. What's the big deal? But it is. I'm quite excited by it. So anyway, so what's the spec? Well, it's 1080p or whatever it is, 2 HDMI imports. It's got SCART. It's got a Freeview tuner in it, and it's got an SPDIF audio out. I'm not really sure what that means. You can preset all the screen to do the colours you want, like cinema or vivid. And generally speaking, the pictures, I think the pictures are very, very nice. And I think as long as you, when you get it, don't have it on the vivid setting, because lots of them come out of the box, you know, so that all the colours are really bright and it's too contrasty. I tend to put it on the cinema setting, which everything's more realistic, and the colours are particularly nice. However, obviously, at the moment we don't have a HD input for this particular TV, because we're running off a Freeview tuner that's built in. So that's just ordinary TV quality. Although the DVD player we've got is an upscaling one, so the picture is better, it's still not true HD. So I think maybe one of the things I probably would have done differently is maybe not get that DVD player and put the money towards just Blu-ray, so you're getting a HD input. I've clagged the Wii up to it as well to give it some smart capabilities, because it's not a smart TV at all. You can plug USB sticks in, as you can see, to look at photographs and some video formats. But with the Wii, obviously, we can now play games on it, but you can surf the internet with the Wii's internet browser. There's a YouTube app. I've put the Homebrew channel on the Wii as well, so there's lots of different things you can do with the Wii, including play some more unusual video formats, or ones that the TV can't handle through the Wii as well. The processor in the Wii can't handle 1080p, so that's a bit of a shame. But hey, you know, we've had the Wii for several years. It's been sitting in a cupboard for so it's good to get some use out of it. Now, although it's branded Polaroid, obviously we know that Polaroid were a film and camera manufacturer that went bust several years ago, so obviously they've sold the name to someone else. But you know, the quality seems fine. Got a nice big remote, came with nice instructions, and I just can't wait to put some Blu-rays through it and watch it in high definition. The sound's not brilliant, probably do with some external speakers or a surround sound home cinema system, but hey, you know, I'm just kind of new to this sort of thing, and I'm really enjoying the TV. Now, I don't want to show any TV or video on the screen, because with YouTube you can get into all sorts of copyright problems, because you've got to get permission to play the clips, and obviously just being little old robnunphoto.com, I probably wouldn't get any. However, what you will have noticed, and it's probably not coming across that well because of the difference in brightness for the screen, is a photo slideshow, and this is kind of bringing it all back to photography. You know, one of the great challenges when you're a photographer, amateur or professional, is editing your own work. And I don't mean editing as in changing, you know, the contrast, the colour and stuff like that. I mean as in picking which are the best photographs. Because we tend to get very emotionally attached to when we shoot photographs. Maybe it was very difficult to get to a particular photograph. Maybe it's a photograph of someone who means a lot to us. And we can't always step back that easily and decide whether it is actually a decent enough photograph. But one of the tricks to becoming a better photographer is not to change your technique, not to change your equipment, but only show people your better images. And this is where something like a beautiful big screen like this really comes in handy, because what you can do is you can load up your photos onto a USB stick, or you could look at them on your computer via the HDMI lead, or you know, through the Wii, whichever way you want to do it. And you can go through and have a really good look at your photographs. See if I can remember how to do this. How do we pause it? Let's wait for a no. There we go, that's paused it, and now we can go through them one by one. So what you can then do is you might be able to see that, might be quite good because it's a silhouette of a tree. So what you can then do is you can really look at it and you can step back, you can ask other people's opinion. You're not just limited by the small screen of your tablet, or maybe the slightly bigger screen of your laptop or your desktop, or the tiny screen on your phone, and really have a look at your image. You know, always give time. Time gives you separation anyway. But then you can go through your photographs and you can have a look at them because they're in HD quite well, you know, and just get opinions on what other people think and what you really think. You know, is that photo that maybe you thought was really, really good? Let's just see an example of something that, you know, it's one that I've taken. You know, say something like this photo here. I don't know how well you see it, but this is a photo I took a few years ago, and I was experimenting with high shutter speeds and flash with my own Fujifilm S5700, and it's a picture of a ball dropping into a glass of water, and I've kind of captured the splash of water and it's against a white background. Now technically this was very difficult for me to achieve. I had to set it up outside because the Fuji couldn't use external flash easily. I mean, you could do it with slaves and things, but I didn't know about them at the time. And I broke several glasses doing it, and I probably took about 100 photos to get probably 2 or 3 ones which were on a par with this one. But the question really now is, apart from the fact that it took me a long time to do, you know, is it really a good photo to look at? The ball's a bit odd. The glass is just an ordinary drinking tumbler. It's nothing special. And quite a lot of the splashes that come out is out of focus and a little bit blurred. So although I've traditionally really liked this photo, it's probably been more of a case of the fact that I've liked the effort that I had to put in to create that photo. And maybe it really shouldn't be part of the portfolio, you know, I share or upload to other people. See if there's another example here. You know, that's one of a simple candle. You know, but again, by looking at things with a little bit more less passion, if you like, a little bit less emotion, you can really choose on the photos, and that perhaps you think are really good, or perhaps, you know, aren't as good as you would want them to be. And the other good thing about looking at them big as well, you can also see quite a lot of the things you've done wrong in terms of, say, exposure or even editing. You know, would I edit a photo like this anymore to distort the colours so much? Well, you know, probably not. And this is another good one. I mean, this is a pretty good macro shot I took, again, with the Fujifilm S5700 several years ago. Fantastic, you know, fantastic photo. You know, why don't I do more photos like that anymore? And you can also see common threads in your photos as well, like that I know I need to take more photos with people in them, because you know, I tend to think of a photo of a scene, unless it's something like, well, even landscapes, you know, unless it's got some people in, is a little bit empty. So there we go. So if you haven't already tried it, load of your best photos onto a USB stick, or plug your laptop into your big widescreen TV and just spend, you know, an hour just kind of look at them and self-edit. Pull out the ones that you think are really good and the ones that maybe shouldn't be in your portfolio if you're trying to put one together, and move on from there. So there we go. That's my review of the Polaroid 40-inch HD LED TV, model number P40LED12. It was a reek bargain from ASDA. I don't think you'd be able to get them that cheap now. They're probably all gone. But it's turned me on to large televisions, and as I say, I can't wait to plug a Blu-ray in and watch Star Wars, because actually the first thing we watched on it was Star Wars: A New Hope, the Death Star battle with the trench run. Put it on, close the curtains, volume up loud, and it was absolutely fantastic. So yeah, really chuffed. My name's Rob from robnophoto.com. Thanks for watching.